You've probably worked with an entitled coworker, so I want to hear your stories. Use code names, all right? I hear ya, I feel ya, or just like spill the beans and tell me everything. We are checking out entitled car workers. Entitled coworkers. Here we go. Casey. Apparently Casey is an entitled coworker. We are not hiding names, apparently. Casey forgot to show up for her interview, but was somehow still hired. Casey seemed to have all the signs of ADHD and admitted she probably did, but her dad was a doctor and said it wasn't a real thing, so she never got treatment. Casey told long, rambling stories about things that no one cared about and would try to read personal items in your purse. Casey worked the late rotation after the supervisors left and would just read fan fiction, leaving everyone else to work the joint queue while doing nothing herself. Casey bounced on a rubber exercise ball that squeaked. Everyone got theirs taken away because Casey fell off hers and they were deemed a safety hazard. Casey would kick her shoes off and rub her fingers between her bare toes at her desk. After everyone left, Casey would raid their candy jars and snack drawers with her toe hands. The only nice thing the evil supervisor ever did was fire Casey. Come on, Casey. Out of everything on this long list of things, toe hands. I briefly had a coworker at my current job at a local grocery store. We'll call him Fred. Fred is one of those people who's always talking on his phone in the break room, and that's my personal pet peeve at work. More often than not, he's usually arguing with his girlfriend and he doesn't seem to care that anyone's listening. He'd do other annoying, gross things like chewing with his mouth wide open and wiping his boogers all over the place. Ew. But then there was one day when he tried to flush a Hot Pocket down the toilet. Why? Needless to say that it didn't play out so well, and that temporarily put an end to our closest employee restroom right by the break room. He surprisingly didn't get fired over that, but he did get fired when one of his old high school teachers came in shopping and he threw a whole sack of potatoes at her. She was an elderly woman who got seriously injured by potatoes, and both the ambulance and the cops had to get involved. I never did hear about what happened to his old teacher, but Fred, on the other hand, is currently in jail for not only attacking, we'll say, his teacher, but he apparently also attacked his lawyer for reasons unknown. That's Fred. I think we're happy that Fred is in a place that he needs to be. And what did Hot Pockets ever do to you? First day of work, she lit her desk on fire. Second day of work, she ate her lunch and broke out in hives. I'm sorry, why was there a second day of work after the first day that she lit her desk on fire? Was that an accident? Third day of work, she arrives at work and sat in her passenger seat until one of us went to check on her. She claimed she hurt her back trying to pick up her purse and had one of her coworkers drive her home, but not let us use the same microwave as her, as she claimed she was allergic to garlic. The list went on and on until she was fired. Oh, Marion, I wonder where you are now, as you were so entertaining. Marion. These stories sound like I can picture Marion. I feel like Marion wasn't intentionally like trying to be annoying or frustrating. Like, that's the vibe I'm getting from Marion. But this whole desk on fire thing is, I need more details on that. Was that an act of anger or an act of like stupidity? How do you accidentally light a desk on fire? Marion, come on, come find this YouTube video and let me know, please. We worked in a store that sold specific and fairly expensive products, and there were 4 of us working there, including the owner. The woman in question was basically his second in command. She seemed totally cool at the time, but then I got fired. Then a month later, our other coworker got fired. So it was just the 2 of them, and when the owner was busy, it was often just her. It wasn't long before he realized that she was stealing hundreds, if not thousands of dollars worth of products when he wasn't around, and that she'd manipulated him into firing his 2 other employees so she could have the store to herself. He has new employees now, and they're awesome. I plan on visiting a lot more once I'm vaccinated. Dang, you are very forgiving. Like, you're going back and you're like, oh, I'll still support them. It's like, but he still fired you for no apparent reason. I don't know. Am I just like not forgiving enough? Because that would piss me off. We had a sysadmin who would come to work and run his real estate business from his desk while he was supposed to be working. The whole time coughing and sneezing and sniffling constantly. We called him Itchy. He would also call friends and family and have hours-long conversations with them while we all had to listen. He picked up the nickname Thanksgiving Dinner Guy for using the break room, a full kitchen, to cook entire meals that wouldn't be out of place at a family gathering. One of the offices in another wing had a sheet by the door for people to log when they saw him and what he was cooking that day. He didn't like any of us. The feeling was mutual, and left books like jerks at work on his desk. When he finally got fired, they found out he never did any of his sysadmin work. No backups, no password changes, no log monitoring. Sounds like a hoot. How long was he there before he got fired? He told the general manager that he might be a bit late for a shift due to his second job. And the GM reluctantly said, okay. He apparently took this as thinking he had free reign to come and go as he pleased. He'd show up anywhere from 7:30 to 8:30 for his 7 a.m. shift. Then when the doors closed, he'd insist he had to head out, and he had an early morning the following morning, leaving everyone else to do the closing work. He also had other issues like being rude to customers and other employees. People mostly kept quiet until one day a higher level manager had to sub on the night shift. When he went to leave early and leave the rest of us with the work, the manager flipped, quote, "If you lay an effing finger on that money before this work is completely done, don't bother coming back." The guy insisted he had permission and left anyway. When our GM returned and tried to come back, our manager said, "You warned me you were going to be late one time, and I never once gave you permission to otherwise start late or leave early. Clean out your locker now." I guess, yeah, like he would just took that as, well, if he doesn't care that I'm late this one time, then he won't care all the other times. I quit smoking due to a coworker that would follow me to every smoke break to talk about their problems when I needed some gosh darn me time. It's been 3 years and I still haven't bothered to pick the habit back up. Hey, well maybe that was meant to happen. Maybe an annoying coworker was meant to come into your life to help you stop quitting smoking. Jerk coworker threw away a Secret Santa gift because she didn't like plush toys in front of the person who gave it to her. I take huge offense to that because I have a basket full of plush toys that I treat like they are my children. Also, even if you don't like them, you could regift it, you could donate it, throw it out. I would dumpster dive for a plush toy. I would save its life, perform CPR. I sound like a lunatic. She was a lady in her 50s. We worked at a doctor's office. Nothing was ever her fault. She could not take even the nicest constructive criticism and constantly complained about everything. One of my nicest coworkers ever, who was around the same age, so not an ageism thing, often was the recipient, Joce, of her blame, and because she never took responsibility, it was regularly the same issue she never learned to correct. They bickered a lot after a couple years of this. One day, the nice coworker went to the car to grab her anxiety meds, and the obnoxious one went to the office manager and then HR, saying she thought the nice one went to get a weapon to hurt her. Like, what? She didn't even own a weapon, and the nice one got fired. I was absolutely shocked. Any lingering respect I had for her was gone. I've had a lot of jobs and met some not so nice people, but she was the most stressful nightmare who could boo-hoo her way into getting pity parties on cue. I hate people like that. Like, surely you can't fire someone without any evidence that this story is true. Like, hello, here's my medication in hand that I went to go get. What are you talking about? Had an assistant who plotted to get me fired and take my job. Some of the workers let me know because he tried to get them on board with him. Eventually, due to politics, I was demoted but asked to be put on the shift relieving him. We worked 12-hour shifts on weekends. After being relieved by a phone a couple of times against the rules, I intentionally came in 4 hours early and he was nowhere on site. I still got a call from him when he should have relieved me like he was still on site. I let the guards know and they videotaped him and I got him fired. I'm a little confused, but I think I understand. But you got him on videotape and he's fired, and that's the point of the story. A few years back in my old job, we hired a web developer who, on her first day of the job, yelled at our CTO because her mouse didn't work. She proceeded to be not just unpleasant, but actively hostile to everyone she interacted with. I came in one morning at like 7 a.m. because I needed to test some stuff, and saw her at her desk eating a box of 7-Eleven wings, not 711 wings, and chugging a 2-liter Diet Coke. She then threw the box of bones into a bin and missed, ew, spilling it everywhere, and she yelled really loudly, "Effin' G darn it!" Ugh. While me and 3 others were in the office. We all gave her the benefit of the doubt of extreme antisocial programmer personality, or maybe had personal problems to deal with, and everyone tried to be nice. That's nice of you. The last straw was when she berated at the most beloved guy in the office, one of the IT personnel that everyone liked, and she gave him a sort of schoolmaster style talking down to in front of the whole office because her internet was slow. She was fired within like 2 weeks of hiring. Also, she smelled like old eggs and mildew. Just seems like a lot of like very minimal patience, you know? Like triggered easily, can't control anger, just irritable. But I do like that you said maybe she was going through some stuff. We gotta try to be more considerate about those things. We don't have to agree with people's actions, and that doesn't make it right, but we can understand. Had a guy that I worked with in my meat department at the store I work at. He would lose his mind over any little thing and get super angry and make everyone very uncomfortable. I was training a new guy and he was on one of his tantrums, so I had to get my managers to help me out. One time he got so mad that he threw an actual meat cleaver, oh god, I don't know, in the wall, and the dent is still there to this day. He got fired a few months ago, and it's been the happiest that department has been in a long time. Pretty sure that's like a massive safety concern. If that hits someone, jail time. I had just left an abusive boyfriend and told everyone at work that if he shows up, say I'm not there. One male manager decided to tell him exactly where I am and told me I have daddy issues. I hope that person got fired, because that's a very serious and dangerous situation. I work with a woman who is threatened by other women, especially if they are younger and have more education than her. She consistently tries to discourage women from furthering their education and constantly tries to get women she is threatened by fired. She is a nightmare. There's a lot of people like that in this world. Even like take genders out of it. There's just people like that where they feel threatened by someone else's success. You don't want to be around people like that, okay? Someone out there needs to hear this today. If they see your success and your happiness as a threat, don't let them in your space. His name was Lenny, and he was a mess. His first day, he drove a van over the side of a loading dock, punctured the oil pan, and then didn't tell anyone until one of the long haul guys asked why the dock was blocked. I was riding shotgun with him once, and he was driving. He was also nodding out while driving and trying to eat soup at the same time. I would fear for my life. He once had me drive to the post office to pick up a package for him. It was a brick of an illegal substance, we'll say, sent to his full name at the post office. He opened the package in the truck to show me all of the illegal substance that he had. He claimed that he was the boss's cousin. Well, he was. He was the boss's cousin and an assistant tour manager. Oh, he passed away of an illegal substance overdose while on tour. That's really sad. Obviously, he had a problem. I don't agree with what he did at the workplace, obviously, but that was a sad ending. On that note, maybe we leave with positive thoughts. I'm getting out of here. Stay classy out there, stay sassy, and I will see you tomorrow.